Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to another episode of ModSauce on the Primus server. Just about everybody's online right now. We don't all seem to be online at the same time very often. I think we're missing Chillum and maybe Rage. Regardless, I made a huge mistake in my last episode talking about the combustion generator. I said that it takes a solid fuel, and it does not. It takes liquid fuel, such as fuel, oil, some other things from Ender.io, and I think you can put ethanol in it, but you cannot put biomass in it, and a couple other things maybe. What we're going to do today, we're going to try to use this thing. And I'm going to have to do some crafting. We're going to need to make, let me just do this. Whoever told me this, thanks by the way. It took me a while to figure out you meant that you had to type it exactly. But we're going to make a vat for Ender.io fluids. We're going to make a farming station. This one is kind of expensive. You have to put a hoe in the recipe, and you have to put a hoe in the machine to actually work. And this pulsating crystal thing, it takes pulsating iron nuggets, which is this recipe, and a diamond. So the farming station is pretty expensive. However, it plants and harvests all at the same time. It only uses 20 RF, which is pretty good. So I'm missing some things in my inventory. I went over, I was running around looking for stuff, and I found a roguelike dungeon, and I got owned, totally. I lost both of my backpacks and a bunch of other good stuff, my magnet. The only thing that survived were my Tinker's tools. I read that they don't despawn. I didn't know that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I read somewhere. So before we get going on this, I want to show you something. If you have a sag mill, if you put flint here, there's one other thing you can put. I think it's the dark steel ball. Yep. You hold shift, you see it gives you percentages for the main output, bonus output, etc. Flint is a little less, but still pretty good. So you have the potential. We'll just put one ore in here. The first time I tried it, I got 4 dust from this, and it's not every time. It's a chance, but it's still better than nothing. So that time we only got 2. I just want to prove this to you. And it does not use 1 flint per operation. You can see this little bar going down. It only uses a little bit each time. So I think I put about 51 flint in here earlier. It works if you have to sag mill clay to get stuff. And watch, it's not going to work while I'm talking about it. Isn't that my luck? At any rate, you have a chance of getting double the output. So keep that in mind. You may not always get it, but you just might. So if you have the flint to spare, then it's not a bad idea. I did make an upgrade for this machine. I also made 2 more heat generators because one was just not cutting it. It was just terrible. It was very bad. My input on top does actually work. We didn't get to see that in the episode, but it I've been using it just fine. I love the Ender.io for 1.7. So I'm going to need to craft a few things. We're going to have to make a bunch of conduits. I don't know that I have all the stuff. I have made it. I've got a bunch of conductive iron and stuff like that. So I'm going to do the crafting, and then I'll come back and we'll set everything up. So I'll see you in just a second. Okay, that should be everything. We've got some conduits. We've got reservoirs. I'm going to need another water bucket, and hopefully that will do it. So let's go upstairs, and I've already got some, ooh, we're going to need one more thing. We'll get to that in just a minute. I've already got the area set up. This farming station, it'll do 7 by 7. So that's not bad. I probably shouldn't have flooded my base, but, you know, what are you going to do? Let's grab a little more dirt. I knew I had that dirt in my inventory for a reason, and then I just put it back in the barrel. So I planted the potatoes only in one quadrant just to show you when we hook up the machine what it actually does. So I probably should have left that block there. Wasn't thinking. We're going to need to know where it is underneath. So let's put one of those. We'll put the thing on top. It sits on top of the layer where you're going to plant and harvest everything. If you look at the interface, it's got it broken up into quadrants. For all of the crops, you need a hoe in here, and for all the wood and stuff, you need an axe. So potatoes will work in it. I don't think it'll plant reeds. Maybe it will. It will harvest them. I know that for a fact. So what we're going to do is we're going to line around the edge with reeds, and then we're going to put let the thing plant the potatoes in the middle. So let's get some reeds. And we're going to need to make actually, let me get the ones in my base because there aren't that many over here. I don't know if everybody needed reeds or not, but I just made the little farm over there because I figured it's probably not a bad idea. So let's get rid of some of this stuff and make a little room as well. Let's see, we can probably do it with that. I need some fast walking boots or something. So we'll put the reeds around the edge. I tested the open block sprinkler as well with the aqueous accumulator. It didn't seem to work unless the aqueous accumulator had water around it or on either side of it. Maybe I just didn't wait long enough. And the thing used to do like 5 by 6 or something like that. Maybe it was 9 by 8. I don't know. Visually, it only affects a 3 block wide strip for about 5 in either direction, but I think it affects more than that. I'm not really sure. I can't verify that. So let's get some of these and a little more iron very quickly, because I want to set this up. I don't know if it's going to be sustainable or not, but I don't want to go straight to windmills. Not going to name any names. I'm just kidding, guys. That's as good a power to start as any, but I'm not interested in doing that at the moment. So hopefully this will be enough conduit. If not, we can always come make more. It's not really an issue. Where's my other bucket? It's got lava in it. I thought I made another one. Here it is. Alright, so no harm done there. We know that that is where the farming station is, and we're going to need to make a hoe to put in there. We'll try cobblestone. I haven't read up on it. I don't know if it just affects the speed or what, but I didn't see the hoe taking any damage. It probably takes iron or better, but like I said, I don't know that for a fact. So this guy is going to need item conduit and energy conduit. And I can't put it there. Okay, there we go. Now I should just be able to do it like that. Alright, so I better make a little more room back here. So earlier when I said that I got owned at that dungeon, the only good thing that came out of it were ender lily seeds. I haven't gotten around to making endstone yet, but I'm going to probably do that after this episode. I didn't have any ender pearls to do it anyway, so it really was a moot point. Alright, we'll see if I can place this right. Knew that was going to happen. And what we'll do is we'll just throw this generator at the bottom just to demonstrate how the farm plants and stuff. And then we'll work out where we're actually going to move the items. I probably put my potatoes away foolishly. I did. Let's leave one in there for good measure. I also forgot we're going to need to do this. I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of these. These are item filters for the Ender IO conduits. It's blacklist, whitelist, kind of like the thermal expansion ones. I think they have a few less slots though. But we really only need to filter one thing, so that's not an issue for us. So I plan on, you know, I'm not a very good decorator. I'm planning on doing a little bit more landscaping and making some steps up here. I don't know how I'll decorate, but I figure I could make at least a little path. This may get turned from dirt, and I may put smooth glowstone in the corners here or something. So anyway, you see this, it tells us no seeds and no hoe. We do have potatoes, okay. More potatoes. Stone hoe, it is working. It's just slow. I used an iron hoe and it was faster. Let's spread these out a little bit because we want it to plant everywhere. So it's going to take a little while for this thing to accumulate excess potatoes, just like anything. Cat Dog gave me a potato earlier, and I watering canned it a few times just to get I tried to get enough to plant in the community garden and then enough for this thing to plant. So if the reeds weren't here, this thing would have planted all the way to this line right here. I have the water here specifically for the reeds. So this thing will harvest the reeds, but there's no place to plant them, so it won't do anything. It'll just harvest them. So if we look at our interface here, we want to push this out of the bottom. So once the potatoes fill up, the excess potatoes will go right here, and they will get pushed out. And that's what we want them to do. Now we're going to go down here. I guess I could just walk over the pressure plate. I'm not used to having it there yet. I'm going to leave the generator up here for a little while until we get some stuff. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to auto craft the sugar cane into sugar, which is why excuse me, which is why I made the crafter. It does take power. It takes like 20 RF. This thing makes 60, I think. So this uses 20, this uses 20, and the farming machine makes 20. So my hope is that it makes, we're going to make hootch. My hope is that it makes excess hootch, and that we can throw another combustion generator down or two and use it to power some machines. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is sustainable or not, but it's something new, and I want to try it out. If it doesn't work, hey, what are you going to do? At least we tried, and maybe we can make it sustainable in some other fashion. So how about this? Let's put our crafter right here. And how you use this, you put whatever you want to craft on the left. That's obviously not a recipe. If we want to make furnaces, we just do this, and then your input automatically goes to the right side. So if we put cobblestone here, it'll keep making furnaces. I believe this is the upgrade slot for the capacitors if you want to speed this thing up. We don't really care about that, so all we want to do is this. And I'm going to go ahead and put the sugar canes in here. I believe it has to go, like it won't let me put it around. It has to go if you put it in manually in the slot immediately right there. Now since we have this recipe set in my testing, the potatoes or seeds or whatever did not go in here. So since the sugar cane recipe is here, those are the only items that the conduit will actually allow in. And we want to make that insert only. I probably ought to go up there, and it looks like that one's on export, so that's not going to be a problem. So maybe I should make this in and out. I haven't tried that yet, but it might work. It might just work. Okay, so then we want to put our vat, and we're going to put the vat here. Normally I just set these two together. I tell this to output on the right hand side where the vat is. The vat needs water, and then it needs, well, here are the recipes: sugar and any of the organic material. Gunpowder and redstone makes rocket fuel, which gives you more power in the combustion generator. I think this one's 80. Then we've got the nutrient distillation. I don't think that works in the combustion generator. I think it works in this thing. Yep. And then the firewater is obviously the most expensive. I think it gives you the most RF. I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's 120-ish. But to make firewater, if you look over here, you have to put hootch in. So you make hootch, then you pump the hootch into another vat to make firewater. I believe the rest of them, no. It takes hootch to make rocket fuel too. So it's just water to make hootch and nutrient distillation, which I didn't correctly hover over. So if we put this conduit right here and tell it to insert, I did not set this to no redstone signal. There we go. So the reeds that are harvested will go into the top, and then they actually get pulled back out the top. We'll see how well that works. Like I said, normally I just tell it to automatically eject into the vat. So this vat is going to need water. And our combustion engine, coincidentally, is also going to need water. So I haven't tried this specifically, but let's try it. These reservoirs are pretty cool if you do a 2x1. They form a multi-block. And if you put 2 buckets of water in, they will regenerate water, kind of like an endless pool. You can take it out with your bucket. Or if you right click it with a wrench, you see that little up arrow, that means it's automatically ejecting water. And look at that. Our vat has water. So I was hoping we could take this thing and just put some fluid conduit on another side to run the combustion engine. Might just work. So I think our combustion engine is going to go right here. We'll have to put one of these under it. Right, yep. So that is filling up with water as well. And then we're going to need a conduit for the hooch that we make in the vat here. And I'll throw some potatoes in a minute. We'll get this thing kicked off. So hopefully, I didn't want it to connect. I know you can set this type, but I think you need a bucket of whatever liquid it is to do that. Maybe if I do it this way. Nope, still connected. Okay, so I am going to have to probably get some hooch going before this thing will let me put a conduit there. So let's run our energy conduit over here. And what we can then do is branch off of it in whatever direction. If we need to make another one of these, I'll put another fluid conduit. Actually, I'll probably go ahead and put it there. Run another energy conduit and then put another combustion generator right here, so that this one should fill up first and then the second one should get the excess fuel. So let's throw, we probably should watering can the potatoes, if I can find out where I put it, or bone meal them, either way. What did I do with that thing? Here it is. Is it daytime? Kinda. Alright, so we'll do this. We're going to need a few of these. Actually, probably just take some out of here. Actually, let's leave, we'll leave 2 in each slot. And look at that. The farming station in action. Reed grows and gets harvested. Okay. So we know it works. If it's not enough reeds, I can make some sort of a contraption. I've actually made this sort of thing before. Row of pistons and a redstone timer set on 5 minutes, and then water and hoppers. Alright, so we got 23 sugar in here. It does take a minute. You'll see the water comes in here, the little thing goes up, and then it slowly turns into hooch. Unfortunately, there's no upgrade for this machine, so this will only work this fast no matter what. So if you're going to have this on a wide scale, you're going to need more than one vat. So now we have hooch right here. So hopefully, alright, I'm just going to have to break this thing, I guess. Where's my hammer? We'll just do this, and hopefully I can get my piece back. Alright, so we can either set the conduit to extract, or we can tell this guy, I want you to push on this side. All the hooch goes into the generator. And you see we're generating 60 RF a tick. So this is a little more involved than, say, a thermal expansion or some of the other types of energy. Oh man, do not connect. Okay, hopefully that's good now. And I'm going to have to put more water in here, probably. Looks like it's good now. Okay. So we're basically just waiting on more potatoes. We've got almost a full generator. So let's knock this one down. And now we wait. I don't know if this is my chunk that's loaded. I think it is. It is. This is the same chunk my ender lilies are in. I set up a dimensional anchor just so those things would grow, because I didn't want to rely on whether or not the other guys were on the server. So we have sugar still. Like I said, we're just waiting on potatoes. Let's go find a few more just to get the thing primed. Nobody came and got any that I grew over here, so I'll just harvest and replant. So I will monitor this for the next next day or two, and if it doesn't work, I may add some sprinklers. And if it still doesn't, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You'd think the Ender IO guy, as awesome as he is, would have considered this and adjusted the fuel output rates accordingly. But, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So we didn't need these things after all. I had it in my head because we were going to use wheat initially. And if you don't put a filter on the vat, the wheat will go in there instead of the seeds, and wheat does absolutely nothing. So if this thing catches up, what we'll end up doing is probably making a drum, which are pretty cheap in this mod pack. It's iron, not steel, I think. Drum. Yep, just iron. I think there's a steel one also. Oh, bedrockium. We're going to make one of these. It's not going to be cheap, but we're going to do it. Anyway, so we're going to end up making a drum. Hopefully at some point we're going to generate enough hootch to make a drum. And then we're going to need a barrel for the excess potatoes, or we could automatically cook them, or, you know, whatever. So I'm going to take my handy little dolly and I'm going to move all these guys somewhere else. I don't know where. I'm kind of outgrowing this base already. I'm running out of room. Maybe they'll all fit. What have I got? Maybe they'll all fit right here. And then I can put my machines on this wall. And then I don't know what machines. Probably some... What's that mod called? Mechanism. And I'm definitely going to need some thermal expansion stuff. So probably some of that stuff. And hopefully, again, like I said, we'll generate an excess of hootch. It looks like we already are. But it's all up to the potatoes and the reeds growing and getting harvested. So there is a brand new energy setup that I've never used. I want to say thank you to the not thermal expansion. I love thermal expansion too. Thank you to the Ender IO dev for adding all this awesome new stuff in 1.7. The mod was awesome in 1.6. It's awesomer in 1.7. I can't wait to try some of the other things. So that'll do it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please leave them down below. Also like to encourage you to check out the channels of the other guys on the server. By now, I think everyone has at least posted one episode. It will take us a little while to get into things, so, you know, give them a try. If you like them, subscribe. If you don't like them, well, you know, what are you going to do? No big deal. And that's it. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.